When it comes to choosing a color palette for a neutral space, I say color, but my neutral lovers, you know what I mean. We have to make sure the space is anything but bland and boring. The goal of a neutral space is to create contrast, whether it's bold or subtle. But a beautifully designed neutral space offers plenty of dimension using contrast and other design elements to elevate the room. Because each space is so unique, even while being in the same house, we start by asking ourselves three questions. Number one, how much natural lighting is there? Number two, what is the functionality of this space? And number three, do we want warm neutrals or cool neutrals? Remember, colors create moods. Ask yourself questions like, is the sun facing directly in? Or are there any outdoor elements like landscaping that will alter color perception? Is the flooring warm or cool in the room? For example, if there are windows in the room directly facing landscaping, choosing a wall color that will neutralize the green tone should be considered, that way the color perception is not altered. Another example would be if the space is receiving plenty of sunlight, selecting a warm color palette may create yellow hues. On the opposite side, if the space receives no sunlight, a cool color scheme will create blue hues. This question will help determine the traffic level and the amount of maintenance we would like to commit to, and which materials will be suitable for our space. For example, materials like marble and boucle are beautiful but are not high traffic friendly. Maybe in a situation like that, we could opt for performance velvet and porcelain and add textures using alternative methods. Matte black kitchen cabinetry. Again, beautiful, but not necessarily easy on the maintenance. This determination will serve as the next level of our foundation, the furniture or built-ins and finishing materials. As we all know, colors create moods, even the neutrals, especially when using the neutral paint color as a foundation for the furniture and other design elements. Color theory, where we use color in a space to achieve the desired atmosphere. This goes back to undertones. Do we want something warm or cool? Selecting a cooler palette translates to applying a blue undertone. Blue in interior design is known for calmness and serenity, the perfect example of a California coastal design style. On the other hand, yellow undertones are warm. In interior design, yellow is often associated with positivity and happiness. Naturally, the paint color we choose for our walls greatly impact the overall vibe. If you have yet to make a decision on the color palette, consider selecting a light paint color with gray undertones. Being extremely versatile, a white paint with a gray undertone will absorb its surroundings and offer more flexibility in terms of either a warm color palette or a cooler color palette. We were actually working this project last year where we tested 27 white paint colors. And it actually ended with me finding my favorite and most recommended white paint color, Decorator's White by Benjamin Moore. With a gray undertone, this paint is literally a chameleon. Picks up warmth when I need it and vice versa. Cools down when necessary. In a neutral home, sure, you're limited on color selection, but color is never the goal for a space like that. How do I create an exciting neutral space? Plenty of textures and layers, mixed metals, natural materials like stone, wood, and textiles. Mixing metals can seem daunting at first because there are so many rules. Don't mix more than 2 or 3. Find metals that will blend together, etc. But let's not really focus on the rules and let's just assess what our space needs. There are warm metals and there are cool metals. Then there's a happy medium. More on that later. That can blend well in both palettes without feeling overwhelming. Ask yourself this: do I want bold or subtle? If you answered bold, the inclusion of brass is obvious. If you answered subtle, the inclusion of bronze or matte black is obvious. From there, you can decide which direction you want to take your space. If a cooler palette is desired, incorporating polished nickel or a polished chrome might be best. Now, that happy medium, which is what I use in most client homes and prefer to use in my home as well. Black, satin brass, and polished nickel. Black is usually my dominant, while the brass and the nickel I use to regulate the temperature of the space and create accents. Natural materials are a breath of fresh air to our interiors and make our space unique. They also create a beautiful foundation for a neutral home. It's creating a statement without the clutter, which is always the goal for a minimalistic neutral home. If you're one of those that needs an accent color in your neutral home, this might be helpful. As we discussed before, colors create moods. For me, I usually choose blue. Living in California and loving travel as much as I do, I value calmness and serenity and try to incorporate that into my designs. If choosing an accent color is not your vibe, but you want some color, greenery. Literally the answer to a perfect home. Let's design this space together. I'm working on a digital design for a basement in Texas which will have a built-in entertainment unit. We have warm flooring and plenty of natural light, so we're starting with adding dark elements to the accent wall to create an anchor for the space. I'm adding mirrored elements to reflect all that beautiful sunlight, and because I'm implementing a smoked mirror, this will also act as an illusion of a dark metal. For the wall paint color, I've chosen Decorator's White by Benjamin Moore. This is the first step in creating a palette that will feel both warm and cool. For our natural element, I'm incorporating this beautiful marble along with these beautiful white oak floating shelves. These shelves will help tie in the flooring and the other natural elements in the space. The first layered element in this space will be a textured bottom rug and a solid top. We're pulling in the contrast from the wall to the floor. Our second element are these layered curtain panels. Since this will be a high traffic space, we are choosing a sectional sofa in a performance velvet fabric. Natural elements continue into the living room by incorporating a round, wide oak coffee table in the middle of a rectangular seating area. For this particular project, we are not incorporating an accent color, just plenty of greenery. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.